Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us again here for another Chat EBC session where we get to know the EBC members a little bit better, and hopefully some of the things that come up in this conversation will help you at the next retreat to be able to spark a conversation or to find something of interest or alignment with our guests. So looking forward to finding out more from our guest today. So we're being joined by Paul Meester, who is from EO Netherlands, who has quite the history within EO globally. So everybody, thank you for joining me here today. Paul, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Stephen, for having me. Yes, I'm Paul, and well, as you say, I've been in EO and I've been very active in EO uh, until I wasn't anymore, and currently I'm actually not very active in EO, but I'm enjoying it nevertheless. Um, yeah, I'm from the Netherlands, born and raised in the environment of Amsterdam. I, I I am a bit of a computer nerd, or at least I was. I like sports. I like music, most of all, and yeah, I definitely love EO for the
So
openness it brings.
actually, you like music, and I know you like music. You do a bit of DJing, isn't that correct?
I do a bit of DJing. I play in an EO band, of course.
Okay.
Hopefully in two before too long. Uh, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, you're one of these EO burners. Like you do Burning Man as well, right? You go to Burning Man with part of the EO group.
Yes, yes, I do. And well, let's not get ahead of things. But if I were to
Okay.
share one of my 5% one things, it's to do with this, but
Okay.
not in the
Well,
way,
okay.
not in the way that you would probably think.
Okay. Well, actually, I've had conversations at some of the last retreats, and I actually learned a lot about Burning Man and stuff that I think I had misconceptions about what it was. So, or the stuff that goes on there. So I've definitely piqued my interest a little bit more. But Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself, growing up in the Netherlands, how you got involved in your business, and what your business is. What's your main business?
Okay, so I grew up in the Netherlands, and like I said, I liked music. And actually, at that time when I was about 15, 16, 17, we had a lot of German music from groups like Kraftwerk, Klaus Schulze, all very electronic with synthesizers, and those were new in those
Hmm.
times. So that basically got me interested in studying electronics, so I could kind of build my own synthesizer
Wow.
and get into the music scene. Although while studying electronics, I found out that meddling with electrotechnical things, diodes, and yeah, all those things. It's not very discrete. It's on a scale. Nothing is yes or no. So I kind of fell into the computer world where you have bits and they're one or zero, and it's very clear. So I started
Okay.
to like that world more, where it's clear if some things works or they don't work. It's always, it's never guessing. It's always a clear reason for it, which I like. So I got into computers. I first worked with a company, Capgemini, in the end. And because of
Okay.
bad managers, I decided that it probably would be better to start something on my own with two colleagues at that time. And that was the start of my entrepreneurship.
So I mean, I love the fact that you're into music, and I love that you're a DJ. But I didn't know that little nugget of I got into computers because of German electro
Yeah.
rock punk music. That's really cool. I mean, I do a bit of career guidance, and I don't think I've heard that story before as to why somebody wants to get into a particular line of work. So that's fantastic.
Mm. Yeah, it's
And
good.
when you're in the bands that you're in now, is it still that genre, or what kind of stuff do you do now?
No, we haven't played any of that. Maybe it could come, but no, we are a cover band, and we try to please the audience, so to speak. So we try to play mostly up tempo things people know, and
Okay.
so I play bass in that in the band. We've got a very good keyboard player and singer, so and I like to play the bass. It's also a nice instrument.
Okay, cool. Bass is very different from electropunk.
Yes, it is. Yeah, what can I say?
But
I
yeah, very eclectic. I love it.
yeah.
So your business is in electronics. Can you tell? Well, sorry, your business was you started in
Software.
electronics, then you went into Capgemini, and now you're in software. You were
Yeah.
explaining this to me, I think, in Berlin. But just give us a quick recap about what you do and what the business does.
Okay, so what we do, well, what we help our customers with is mostly manage their infrastructure. So our customers are companies like Deutsche Telekom or well, grid companies or water distribution companies, electricity distribution companies. So they all got networks and stuff to get all the what they sell to the customers, get it there. And for those
Hmm.
companies, those networks are one of the most important things, probably apart from their bank accounts. I don't know, but those networks
Well,
make their money, and so they need to manage that very carefully. And we help implement tools to give them all the information about those networks that they need to keep them running, get them running, build them, repair them, etc. So we help with that part.
very good. And if I remember correctly, this is your bringing in other stuff, but do you have your own software as well, or do you use other people's existing kind of proven technologies?
We do. We mostly work at the moment with software that's owned by General Electric. They sell
Hmm.
that around the world, and we have add-ons that we can bolt onto their stuff, and they sell that for us as well. But we mostly also implement their solutions at customers.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, when you've got music, you've got your business, you've got now, you've got plenty of free time. We'll get into your EO story in a minute. Um, what's in your mind at the moment? What do you? We're coming up to the end of the year. Just to put a date on this now, we're coming up to the end of the year, the end of 2023.
Yeah.
Um, what's on your mind at the moment?
Well, Christmas? No, that's not true. Not yet. Maybe in a few weeks. But no, what's on my mind at the moment is with my companies. I started with two business partners, and one of them was much opposed to meddling much with the offices that we started. We started various offices, and he always said, "Well, let's leave them alone. Then we don't need to worry about them." But in the end, I saw that didn't give the results I would like to have, and
Hmm.
so the last a few years ago, I bought him out. So now I'm the sole shareholder of left of the original three, and I
Hmm.
started to kind of put together all the companies, and that's what we're doing at the moment. We kind of created one management structure, one sales set of things that we want to sell internationally, and basically we're located in the UK, in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Romania, in South Africa, and Australia,
Wow.
and so we're pulling that together, which is fun, but a bit of work.
That sounds like a huge task of work, and it's good that you have that spare time now from EO to be able to do all that. It sounds like there's an awful lot of moving parts in that.
Yeah, so I hope this is looking at the future. This is my last big bit of work, and then I should be even more free
Okay, very good.
to finally
And
do more music.
well, this is to do the things that we want to do.
Yeah.
So is this something that you've been able to get? I mean, I know that there are many international businesses and within EO and people who have different offices in different places. Is this something you've been able to learn from, or is it something that you're doing kind of yourself and figuring it out as you go along?
Well, I must say I've learned a tremendous amount from EO, even from mentors that are not in EO, but especially how to deal with the people that I need to get to cooperate with me.
Hmm.
And I think also being in the international world of EO with the in the global board, but also even in Europe, um, you got to deal with many different people. They're all volunteers, so there is no hierarchy, and that was really good for me to learn how to and to see from other people that I admire a lot within EO how they motivate people and get them to come along.
Hmm. So you're working on this big thing now, and you're saying this is hopefully your last big piece of work, so you can go and spend some time playing music and doing the things that you want to do. But if you weren't in this, if you weren't building out this program and working in these, working with the software and developing your own software, what do you think you'd like to be spending your time doing? Would it be music, or is there something else, some other industry or something else that you'd like to explore or mentally think about?
Well, I must say I think probably if I would have followed my passion when I started studying, etc., uh, and didn't get distracted by well, work or other stuff, then I probably would have made things for music, like maybe not the synthesizers in real life, but maybe the software that
Hmm.
kind of emulates them, because that is yes and no, and the synthesizers themselves are difficult, but I probably would have been there. What I've thought about a lot during my career, during the time that I've been working, is to do something to help me with my shortcomings, which is planning. My planning is sometimes not the best. And I started with the paper agenda and then the electronic agenda and now the to do
Hmm.
systems. But they're still not very intelligent in that they know what is the most important thing at the time. And I
Hmm.
think many people would probably be helped with a system that tells them how to get to their goals.
Well, I think you've got at least an audience of 18,000 members in EO across the world, because I think that's something that we share, a lot of us. And I know in on the last retreat, Keith Roberts was there, and he
Yeah,
has the Oak Journal. So I think there's a lot of structure that EOers, I think we naturally maybe balk at, or we naturally kind of move away from. We want to put structures in place for everybody else, but not for us. We're different.
yeah.
But then we get
Well,
caught in that spiral as well.
yeah, and funny you mentioned that because at that I was at that session with Keith, and at that moment he let us pick our neighbors, the people we were standing next to, and those would be our accountability partners. And so since that meeting, I have been every day WhatsApping my page from the Oak Journal with Michal from Poland, and
Okay,
actually
very good.
it's quite nice to do.
Yeah.
It makes me definitely think more about my priorities, what I want, how it's going, etc. And yeah, I'm actually wondering how many people that were in that session do this.
Well, that's something that we can ask. Like, if people want to put we don't normally ask for links or for comments on these videos, but if you're watching this far in, you're about 13 minutes into the video. If you're watching this, if you were in Bodrum at Keith's session, if you were still working with your accountability partner, put a message in the chat, or put something in the WhatsApp group that you saw this. Let us know that you're watching.
Yeah, and if you forgot about it, then you not too late to pick it up now. So
Absolutely. But
can only
I
recommend.
think that was so. I wasn't. As many people know, I embarrassingly wasn't able to get to Bodrum. My passport, as I
Yeah,
was boarding the plane, I was told didn't have enough space in it, or didn't have enough time before it expired. But I know Keith, and I've seen him before, and I think one of his messages is very much, if you drop off, it's okay. You can come back to it the next week, or you can come back to it the next day, and the stuff is still
yeah,
there. So absolutely, if you've dropped off, start up again. So you think it would be something to do with either music or that some kind of intelligent to-do system or tracking system?
yeah. I mean, there's so much AI around now, so why not use it for
Mm.
something that solves a problem?
Yeah.
At least for me.
And
Yeah,
when you're talking about the AI in the music, did you see? I just can't remember who it was, but in Barcelona, one of the Dutch members played the AI EO song, the anthem that he made.
yeah.
Who was that?
Olivier, it
Olivia.
was.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing and outrageously catchy. Like, everybody was dancing to it.
yeah, yeah. I hope we can get it all the way to GLC next year.
Well, we're working on that. So Speaking of EO, you've been in what 10, 11 more years now.
11, yeah. This is my
11 years.
12th year. Yeah.
And you've kind of done it all. Not there's so much to do in EO, but you've done the journey to the top of the mountain, so to speak. You've done the local board. You've been area director. You've been president of your local board. You've been area director. You've been regional director, and you've been on the global board of directors.
Yeah.
And now, with nothing left to do, nothing else to do, you've decided to join another chapter, which is phenomenal. So, tell us a little bit about your EO path and your EO journey.
Yeah. Well, it all started with another EBC member, Stefan van Gelder, who used to
Okay.
be the president in the Netherlands when I joined EO in the Netherlands. And
Hmm.
he, at my first meeting, asked me if I had an hour a week spare. So I said, okay, I have an hour a week to spare, no problem. But that was the start of many more hours. But
It's an hour to
still,
plan the next six.
yeah, no, but I must be honest. I thank him for asking me because I think because of that, my EO experience has been, well, I guess, richer for me than it would have been if I wouldn't have stepped up and I wouldn't have been asked to step up. So
Hmm.
yeah, really, really grateful for asking people, and I think it's always good to ask people that are not yet stepping up to do something because
Hmm.
once they start moving, they'll see how good it is, especially within an EO working with all the great people. So that was
And
the start. Yeah,
and when because you had a like the kind of typical progression: local president, regional leadership, and then stepping up to global leadership.
yeah.
Are there
I
any
try.
other areas? Sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, no, no. That's true. No, I was say I wanted to skip a step to before the regional leadership to go to global, but they sent me back and say do your duty regionally first.
Very good.
Yeah,
And is there any other area like there's so many opportunities and so many different projects and initiatives within EO that we can all get involved in if we have an interest in it? Is there anywhere where you might think, yeah, I'd like to maybe have a go at supporting that or getting involved in that, or
oh, oh,
are
well,
you
there's
are
so
you
many.
taking a bit of time off now?
Well, there's so many good people, so it's I don't think EO has any trouble finding the right people to help it, apart from me. But of course, well, what I've done before is that I was active with chapter launches, and so I've supported some
Hmm.
of the chapters. We've tried in the Nordics, in Finland, we've tried in Italy. I was kind of involved. Also in Paris and Belgium, I kind of was involved trying to get that going. But having seen EBC and this model, I think it's all a waste of money trying to start small chapters in cities if there are not enough people. So why not?
Hmm.
I'd like to help promote a model like EBC to start new chapters or new regions and at least get people a lot of value instead of
Okay.
a lot of struggle. Although struggle is good for entrepreneurs, I hear, but still,
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the founder members of EO Ireland, and I remember those days of everybody being on the board, like the entire membership were on the board because everybody had to do stuff, and it was all about trying to get people in and trying to
yeah,
focus and things like that. So, there is a lot in launching a new chapter, and especially if you don't really understand the value of EO yet, you haven't seen the impact that it can have. It can be a very, very tiring experience.
yeah. And in the beginning, this that I mean, it's good that everybody's on the board, and that's probably nice for 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, but sometimes it's like 4 or 5 years, and
Yeah.
then it goes stale. It's no longer fun.
And
Yeah,
the energy kind of gets drained as well, so it's harder to do the pushes for the new people and harder to get fresh ideas in for new events. So yeah,
yeah. And having seen some new people, new to EO, land in EBC, and the way they react to it, it's amazing. So.
yeah. So tell me about that then. You've finished up the your global board responsibilities, and within 24 hours you joined EBC. Like you were joining EBC as soon as you had any time. Why were you interested in EBC?
Um, well, to be honest, I was in EBF. I was also at the
Okay.
first EBF meeting, so I joined EBF just before I heard I was admitted to the global board, and then I thought that will be too much. So I said I'll probably be back after my duty in the global board.
Okay.
And during my duty in
Just
the
for any of the people who might be fairly new to EO or new to EBC, just give us a rundown of EBF, the bridge forum, the precursor to all of this and the foundation for all of this. What EBF,
yes,
what it was.
so EBF started when I was in the regional roles. There was already the ABF, the Asia Bridge Forum, which was very successful and still is, I think.
Hmm.
And so we were talking in the regional council with mainly, I think, Tim Valkenhaken from Germany, who said, "Well, I'd like to start something like that in Europe." And so that was started with some good members he found, and I liked that, and I joined that group. And then so I stopped. And during my time in the global board, there was a lot of discussion about how to get the members at large more engaged. That's one, and also the people that kind of had served their time in the normal chapter structure and would like to have an experience, maybe not every month, but still have
Hmm.
an international experience. And so various things came by, and finally this bridge chapter model was accepted by the board, and I was in the board at that moment. So, and it was great to see Frido step up
Hmm.
to launch it for the first try, and the first bridge chapter in that sense. So I've
Very
seen
cool.
that happen, and yeah, I mean, I had to join, of course.
Yeah, well, and you were part of it. You were there when it was born. Um, so what do you think then? So you mentioned a couple of things there about members at large. So I know we have a few members in EBC who are members because they don't have a local chapter, and this is a great way for them to engage. There are, but the majority of people are in two chapters, including yourself, including myself. We're in the local chapter and we're in EBC. What do you think makes EBC different or special from what you also have in your local chapter?
Uh, Meeting in
I didn't
depth
say
within.
I didn't say better, but you can say better if you want.
No, I don't say better, but meeting more people in a forum 5% setting for a
Hmm.
number of days, not just one afternoon, but I think this getting to know and really bonding and feeling the personalities of the people is great, and every time it's
Hmm.
great. It's again great because it's all great people. That makes it good. And so this for me is a very big difference with the local chapter where it's the same group, which is also a group because you get to know them very well. But the core 5% struggles, you can't bring them on every time in your local chapter
Hmm.
because and it doesn't feel right. But within EBC, it's like a fresh audience and also
Hmm.
fresh perspectives every time that really
Yeah.
help break through barriers that might be there. So I like
One of the
it's
things that
helpful.
I've found, yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I found in the forums as well is because it's quarterly, the 5% tends to be more kind of quadrant two, uh, important but not urgent. Whereas I think a lot of the time when we're informed if something has happened last week and it's like it's fresh in our mind, it maybe is a little bit more quadrant one,
Yeah,
important and urgent. Whereas I
yeah.
think having the time to think more openly about things in the quarterlies, I think is a really powerful exercise.
I I think so too. And
So
plus seeing some other places than your own place is also good.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
So
that's the
you're obviously a big fan of the traveling within EO, and you're on the regional council, you're on the global council, so there's a lot of traveling involved, and EBC has a lot of travel. Tell us where you are right now, because you're
oh
not in your local chapter right now.
no, I'm not. Well, I am and I'm not because at this moment there is a joint chapter event between I think Germany Rhine-Ruhr and the Dutch chapter, and it's a Christmas market in Cologne event. So I'm in Cologne. I'm a little bit early for this interview, and I'm at the place where also the mixed up forum session will be a little bit EBC style. So I don't know
Okay,
who
cool.
introduced it here. wasn't me, but
Okay.
I'll try if it also works with German and Dutch members together. I guess it will.
So now what I want to do, because I don't want to keep you from the party, we have these five random questions from a five random question generator that I have here. So these are quick fire. Whatever's the first thing that comes into your mind, just give us the answer.
Okay,
Does that work for you?
we'll see.
Cool. So the first question is, oh, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh,
Actually, that's a hard
yeah,
one. I won't say
that's a
meal. What I'll say is a type of food, like a Chinese, pizza, Italian, whatever. If you
Oh,
could only
okay.
eat one for the rest of your life.
With everything in it, I just had a fantastic Pokeball here. There's a
Okay.
Pokeball restaurant, and they make fantastic Pokeball. So, and that is so rich of everything. So I think I'll survive with eating Pokeballs.
Okay. Question two: what's a skill you'd like to master?
Um, yeah, strange enough, I think I'd like to master public speaking.
Okay.
I'm not
On
afraid
any
of.
particular subjects or?
No, I'm not afraid of public speaking, but the skill of making a story and being able to present that properly. Um, Maybe it's the skill of liking to prepare
Okay.
because I've done quite some trainings on it, but it always comes down to preparation. That's not my
Okay.
strongest point. So maybe
Interesting.
that would make
Okay.
my whole life better.
Have you looked at GSA, the Global Speakers Academy?
I looked at that. Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds fantastic. And I heard
Okay.
all the
Cool.
feedback from the people who've done it. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Third question. What's a small act of kindness that you were once shown that you'll never forget?
Oh, that is nice. I know there is one.
It's
Um,
always difficult in these kind of on the spot questions to remember one you're going, oh, is
yeah,
that meaningful enough or is
yeah,
that,
indeed.
yeah.
It is not easy, but when did I really feel grateful? Well, just recently, I think. When I was, where was I? Where was I? People were so friendly to me. Um, I guess the people from the Alzheimer hospital now. I don't know.
Hmm.
Sorry, Stephen. I can't bring it up.
Okay, no problem. So then the next question then is what's something that made you proud recently?
Okay, well then I go back to the Burning Man thing.
Okay.
So I've been to the EO camp of Burning Man. It's called Deoxidized, DEO Oxidized,
Hmm.
and I've been there 3 times. And one of the people, the great inspirators, is Tilio Lagata from EO Nevada. And he recently asked me. He said, "Why my 2 daughters they would like to go to Burning Man, but the EO camp doesn't allow children or non-members, basically." So he said, maybe your daughters would like to work together with my daughters to organize a youth camp. And so they've picked up the glove and the challenge, and they're now going to try to organize for Burning Man next year a special camp for like children from EO, people that are from 18 upwards, but would like to come to
Hmm.
Burning Man and have a great camp that is a bit like the EO camp, but not the EO camp. And I'm really
Oh,
proud that
cool.
because it's not easy, but that they take on this challenge and start to do that.
Fantastic. Very good.
So this again,
And
a
now
little bit of
the,
advertisement for EOers that would like to go to Burning Man, bring
well,
their
any of the EO burners, and I know there are one
yeah.
or two even within EBC. So then the final quickfire question: what's a language that you wish you could speak?
Oh, Portuguese, Portuguese.
Portuguese. Okay, so you need to sit down with Zay for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Portuguese.
Um, so now the last question. So this is a thing that we started doing recently. The last guest asked a question, not knowing who the next guest would be. So it's a way of just having that flow of conversation. So the last guest was Nikhil, and his question was, "What is your objective in terms of succession in your business?"
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not coming from a family business background.
Hmm.
Um, so I'd like for succession for the business, I really like someone who can bring the business forward and make sure all the people that will stay there after I leave are happy and can grow their careers and have a good life within the business. Basically, that's my
Hmm.
main objective. Yeah, I think that's it because I don't have at the moment think my daughters would like to be active there.
Okay. Well, Paul, thank you very much for joining me today for this chat EBC. I'm sure people will
My
have
pleasure.
a variety of questions, and hopefully that will lead to some more interesting conversations at some of the next retreats that we're at.
Thank you very much. Can I ask you one thing? Would you like to hear my
Yes, anything.
question to the next person?
Yeah, but not on air. So I need to get it. I need
Oh,
to
it's a
stop
secret
recording
one.
and then I'll ask you the
It's a
questions. It's a
secret
secret one.
question.
So the question comes off air, so people can't prepare for it. So
Ah, right. Thank you,
cool.
Stephen.
So
Thanks
thank
for
you very
this.
much.
Yeah,
Enjoy the Christmas party, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere in the world very soon.
I'm sure that will happen. Take care.